in the book. Congress reconvenes next week, and that's when you can expect more fireworks on the Hill. Congressional Republican leaders plan to square off against the White House. Plus, President Obama prepares to address the nation about jobs and the economy. Joining us now with more, Fred Barbash, managing editor, of CQ Weekly. It's good to see you this morning.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for coming in. Let's talk first about the president and his speech next week. All the focus is on jobs, the focus is on the economy. The president's numbers and polls on how he's handling the economy have been slipping lately. Could he make up for that next week, or is this going to be overshadowed by the whole date gate of having to change things around?
Well, this is the unfortunate part of the amateur hour that we're witnessing here, or bad theater. You know, it might have been a speech that somebody might have listened to, even though none of what he says is going to become law. We know that now. The Republicans won't vote for anything. But what the commentary will be is what occurred before the speech took place, which was really kind of pathetic. You know, I've been listening to these LBJ tapes from years ago where he would get on the phone with politicians and arrange things and persuade them and then turn them over to his assistants to work out the details. And that's what's supposed to happen here. This exchange that took place in public, well, it'll be on Monday, no, it'll be on Tuesday, we don't like Tuesday, let's do it Wednesday. That's all supposed to be done in private. So this became a kind of farce. But that's what the public's come to expect from them anyway, and that will overshadow whatever the president says. And you can just imagine the commentary afterwards. It will be all about how he handled that. Will he make a joke about it? And then the jobs issue will be of secondary or maybe even tertiary to that.
It really brings up an interesting dynamic when you look at how things are run today. You mentioned the behind the scenes kind of becoming the scenes now, becoming public, and with that and all the social media out there and the fact that any of us are privy to a lot of this information that was normally kept under wraps. And it's interesting these days how you can still try to govern knowing that the entire world out there is learning these things as they're happening.
That's right. Well, it's all campaign now. There's barely even a pretense of actually governing. You use the word governing, and it would be nice if there was some semblance of that going on. But I think they've all conceded right now that what's happening is not governing. It's something else. It's the permanent campaign. So everything that goes on has to be seen through that filter. Now, I have no problem with campaigning. I rather enjoy it. But, you know, it ought to be professional. It ought to be good. A good campaign is one you don't see. You don't think it's a campaign. You think it's serious business. But when it's so obviously campaign material and bad campaign material, then it's kind of sad and pathetic. And the public's confidence in Congress, you talk about the president's standings, soon they have no friends at all. I mean, they're getting down to 12% approval. 10%. How low can that really go statistically? I mean, it's interesting. You know, if they get down to 3%, in statistical terms, that's zero.
Right. And, you know, so you take that on top of the fact that you have a speech coming up where you have a Democratic president who has changed plans once to accommodate a Republican Congress and twice to accommodate the National Football League,
right,
so that he can still get his message across, where it seemed like all our lives growing up, the president was at the top, and what the president wanted, the president got.
Yes, and not only that, but the president knows that nothing that he proposes will even get consideration. It will be described according to script as job killing or big government or big spending. But he knows he has to present a plan so that when the real campaign comes around, he can say, and I presented a plan, would have given jobs to millions of people, and they wouldn't bite.
Let's talk about plans quickly and see what we can get through in about a minute or so. Sure. When we talk about Congress itself, Congress back in session next week, what priorities are there for Congress once they come back to
jobs?
Session?
To talk about jobs, but only to talk about it, not to do anything. I mean, when they say we're going to talk about jobs, that's what they literally mean, talk. There is also, as you know, this super deficit committee that will start its work. Actually, they've started already, which under the deal that was crafted to get over the debt ceiling hurdle, they get together, and by Thanksgiving, if it's, you know, if we have
they need to have something.
Yes, they need to have something that suggests that they've made a good faith effort to reach a deal, so that you don't get this sort of time bomb of the automatic cuts, sequestration that's supposed to take place after that, which would be pretty devastating if that actually happens. So we're headed for another kind of bout of brinkmanship and high drama, and everybody sort of glued, waiting to see if they're going to reach an agreement or not. Again, bad theater.
Pretty much picking up right where we left off.
Absolutely.
All right, a lot of talk, and we'll see what kind of action we can get out of it. Maybe that will increase the approval rating if we can stop the talking and start the doing. Fred Barbash with CQ Weekly, thanks for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
Do appreciate it. Allison, back to you.